So reinforcing and building mental fitness and resilience is something that comes into play not only in training but everything that we do. And I think the best way to do that is to consistently put yourself out there in a situation that you're not comfortable in. We're never going to be able to build our resilience, we're never going to be able to build our mental fitness game if we're not consistently working past our plateau or our restrictions. We've got to go beyond that. My name's Andrew Pap, I'm 28 years old, live in Sydney, and I'm heavily involved with the fitness industry. My life revolves around it, from being a trainer, from having an online program, from running overseas fitness retreats, owning a gym, being an ambassador for many brands. So it sort of runs in my blood, but most of all I just love being in the service industry because I get to help other people. A typical day for me would always begin with some sort of movement first thing in the morning. I like to get up with the sun, as long as I have enough sleep and I have the time. This morning went for a run, did some interval stair training and stick to certain areas that I know well. Sydney has the best of both worlds. It's a beautiful city. It's a city that's busy and it's a lot happening, but it's also located in a beautiful harbour and the beach. So you've got both sides. Currently I'm on the peninsula. I'm on the harbour side, but I can just skip over to the beach side, or then I just quickly get into the city. So I'm in a really good location. Lots of opportunity to do a lot of things. The world is your oyster.
She was, oh, you made that look easy. I'm like, serious? You seen the slobber coming out of my mouth? And the deep breath? So essentially we're at the Cranbrook Stairs. It's literally a stone's throw from my house. I usually get a nice 5K warm-up loop here before I start my session at Cranberry. So it's working on overall capacity. We're looking at keeping a strict time, keeping yourself accountable on intervals. So from the bottom to the very top of the stairs, we're looking at 50 seconds. You can have a 5 to 10% discrepancy though, whether you're under or over, but usually it's about pacing, because we can all go hard the first few rounds and then you blow up and then you're useless. So in particular with endurance racing, especially when there's incline, decline involved, you've got to be able to understand how to pace yourself, and you've got to understand how to work efficiently, and you've got to be conditioned and put the work and time in. So I'd go 50 seconds to the top, probably a 10-second just to sort of compose myself at the top, catch my lungs and my legs, make my way down light on the feet, get my breath back into rhythm. By the time I hit to the bottom, I'm doing pretty good with it, and then I get 60 seconds recovery turnaround time. So 3-minute turnaround time in total, and then we'll go for 10 efforts. Now as you condition yourself, you can go 15 efforts, 20 efforts. You can take some sandbags with you and put maybe one every 5 effort, take a sandbag, give yourself like a 4-minute turnaround. So there's ways to introduce variability to break those plateaus, but it's not a sprint session and it's not a slow aerobic event. It's gonna have to be short and sharp.
common mistake that I would do in my training would be obeying the intensities. I want to feel challenged. I want to feel like it's hard. And so I may go a few notches above where I'm meant to be. And that has that negative repercussions in the long term, but in the short term, it gives me that satisfaction. So that's something I need to sort of really pull back on, especially in the endurance scene. When you are training for long distance, you've got to make sure you shorten that volume, or you give yourself time to recover. The best way to start your fitness journey is having a specific goal and not thinking that you go from step 1 to step 100 in one bound. It will take you the full 99 steps to get to step 100. And it's understanding that everything that's worth having requires a methodical and systematic approach. And I think the best way to take the first step is to understand why you want that specific goal and what does it mean to you, and are you willing to make those 99 steps to get there. Because if you can't honestly say to yourself that's worth doing, then you won't actually do the 99 steps. You'll try to skip a few, you'll get too close to it, and then you'll just be back to step 1. So it's those associations that we needed to build. It's like, I want this because that's going to be satisfying, and it's going to be something I've been aiming for some time, and it's a healthy want. It's not you're not being geared from a negative gearing, and being positively geared. The worst type of failure is you fail at something, you don't learn anything out of it. Anything that happens to you, it's happening for you. And there's always a reason why things happen, and we can always play the victim, but I'd rather try to be better about it rather than be bitter. And so anytime that I mess something up, or something just doesn't come to fruition for whatever reason it is, what I like to do is self-assess and understand the situation and think about why. What can I do in the future to prevent it happening again? And I think that's the constant circle of life, is trying and failing, trying, succeeding. It's just always trying at the end of the day.